Anime is a vast ocean of gripping action, heartfelt drama, and insightful moments. We've all been hit with popular waves of anime like My Hero Academia or Attack on Titan, but what about the shows that fly under the radar? Since nobody else has the time to sort through the endless stream of entertainment, in this series, I will be finding you an anime you don't know. This week, Gargantia on the Verdurous Planet. Let's grab a drink and let's get started. Set in the distant future, humanity has long abandoned the cradle of Earth to explore and colonize the deep annexes of space. However, one threat stands before humans in finding a hospitable new planet to call home: the Hideout, a vicious alien species bent on destroying mankind. The Galactic Alliance of Humanity has long waged war on this threat, and 16-year-old Alliance Lieutenant Leto is eager to join the battle to prevent humanity's extinction. However, in an unfortunate turn of events, he is thrown into the reaches of space and ends up crash landing on Earth? Leto and his autonomous robot, Chamber, are salvaged by Gargantia, a fleet of scavenging ships. With no one to contact his fleet in space, Leto has no choice but to acclimate to life on Gargantia. Even as he gains his bearings, Leto learns that there is much more to this ocean-covered planet than meets the eye. In case that compelling hook is not enough for you, without spoilers, I'm going to be breaking down a few aspects of the show just to convince you that this show is worth a watch. Let's dive in. Gargantia is a science fiction mecha drama that strangely resembles an isekai anime in structure. If you're unfamiliar with isekai, they tend to be the shows about going to another world with some sort of ability after the main character dies. Let's examine the structure of Gargantia here, and you can tell me if I'm just wrong. Our protagonist is cast into an unknown world, in which he has some sort of ability or item that makes him stand out. He has to adjust to the setting, and eventually he learns some sort of lesson that makes him find his place in the world.
Congratulations, sir! You have just given me my 1 millionth
Isekai.
Huh, great. What do I win?
nothing! Now get out!
What?
Get out!
Tone-wise, Gargantia has a different atmosphere than an isekai. The story is divided into two distinct halves. There's a down-to-earth segment that involves Leto learning how to adjust to his surroundings. This section is amusing, I guess is the best word. It's comical and it has more slice-of-life elements. I personally really enjoyed the low stakes and cute character moments that we see all throughout the first half. As the story progresses, however, the stakes begin to rise, and the tone does shift away from that. The comedy lessens more and more, and we become more engrossed in Leto uncovering the truth of this waterlogged Earth. The journey to get that information is riddled with mysteries and plot twists alike. I think the pacing of the story here is really good. The tonal shift doesn't feel too drastic, and I think this leads to an overall very pleasant story experience where nothing feels like it's forced. At the same time, however, Gargantia doesn't break the mold or do anything that's too different for this type of story. There are pretty on-the-nose themes of blind obedience and humanity's purpose, which, if you've seen an anime or two, those are some pretty common themes. The story does have some moments that are definitely predictable, but enjoyable all the same. I think strong pacing and strong character work are the backbone of this anime. And speaking of characters, the post-apocalyptic world of Gargantia is inherently rich and interesting. A world built around the Earth being only composed of water is by no means new or innovative, but Gen Urobuchi, the author of Gargantia, did an amazing job making this world feel lived in. By the way, if you know a thing or two about anime, Gen Urobuchi is the author of Psychopaths and Madoka Magica. Getting back on topic. From the pirates to the fleet captains, every antagonist or character serves some sort of societal or narrative purpose. Of course, all of this world building and character work plays second fiddle to Leto's story, but it really helps make the world feel lived in, like it's an actual world. As I was saying though, Gargantia primarily focuses on Leto's character growth, as he has to come to terms with a society that is vastly different than his own. Being raised as an intergalactic warrior, Leto has never been exposed to concepts like money, empathy, or even fun. The Alliance doesn't need those things, and the weak are cold at a young age if they can't perform their duties. Soldiers have one mission: to destroy the Hideout. Now, this is interesting because Leto carries his officer mentality all throughout the story, but it's really great to watch the people around him slowly break down that robotic exterior and reveal the human underneath. Since we're talking about robots, Chamber is a character tied directly to Leto, and it's kind of hard not to talk about him. Not only does he provide some comedy from his dry, matter-of-fact statements, but he helps mark Leto's character progression throughout the story. At the start, the two always seem to be in agreement. However, as Leto develops more and more, he begins to deviate away from Chamber's logical judgment. Also, I'm not going to spoil it, but Chamber has one of the best lines in the entire show towards the end, that's all I'm saying. But anyway, getting back on topic, Chamber and Leto's relationship serves as a concrete way to help mark Leto's character growth. It's a really, honestly, smart thing. Overall, I enjoyed Leto's character and his journey to find his way and, his place in this world, but I would be amiss to not mention the people that he makes that journey with. Amy, a young girl from Gargantia, is without a doubt the most important character in Leto's adventure. She serves as a love interest and direct character foil to Leto. She has a upbeat, vibrant, and trusting nature, and it just makes her a really refreshing cast member. The world of Gargantia is very bright, and it's very colorful. If you just take a look, even though, of course, we have this world made of water, I think it's a really beautiful looking world, just the way it's all drawn and everything. And I think Amy just really fits that vibe, because they also have this very primitive nature. Even though they have machines and guns, there's still this post-apocalyptic primitiveness, and I think Amy's character design is spot on. I think it really just captures it. Also, she's absolutely adorable, and I love watching her develop feelings for Leto throughout the series, and the two just bounce off each other really well. Pushing aside my formal persona here, I think she's 10 out of 10, the best character in the show. In honesty, the rest of the supporting cast is a little bland. Most of them feel one note and cliche. They just kind of have one thing about them that makes them stand out. And this isn't to say that they don't offer anything. They all have some of them have their fair share of comedical moments and mini arcs, but Leto and Amy are without a doubt the spotlight characters of this anime. Not really, I talked a little bit about how beautiful this show is, and I think that's all I have to say. Bye. Okay, no, for real. Gargantia is a good-looking anime. I think the most eye-catching parts are the depictions of the daily life of our cast in that first half of the show. I think those are probably where we find the most beautiful-looking segments. The soundtrack doesn't offer anything too special, but I think it sets the tone well. There are a good mix of relaxing songs for the day-to-day happenings, and some intense music for our more tense moments. Since we're talking about sound, guess I'm gonna need to talk about this. They're both fine, you can watch either. Whew, alright, I'm glad I got that over with. So, the opening does an amazing job capturing the general feel of the show. Not only is it a carefree and adventurous bop, but it does a fantastic job displaying how gorgeous the character designs and world are. Gargantia has a lot to offer any anime fan, especially those of you who enjoy satisfying character work, an alluring world, and strong pacing. The 13-episode show is available on Crunchyroll or Netflix. I'm not sponsored, but that'd be cool. And today's question of the day is, what would you do if you were thrown into a world wildly different than our own? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, this is Aaron, and I'll be seeing you next time. Check it out the lodge.
Get out! Everybody get out!